Wow. Welcome to Targeted, the show for masculinity and success. And I'm your host, Atlas Aultman, former military commander turned best-selling author, now bringing you a podcast that you can use. We're sharing stories from highly successful men so that you can figure it out for yourself. Welcome. This is Targeted.
I've gotten to the point where I don't actually deal with negative thoughts or doubt often at all. To the point where, you know how when you hear the beginning of a song, like the first 3 seconds, you know immediately what song it is?
Yeah.
That is how quickly I can identify negative thoughts and press next.
I love it.
But it's been through that practice. I don't know. I mean, I'm very disciplined in all these things, like just mastering the mundane of just doing the same things every day because I know that they work and bring the results.
Yeah.
But it's that one that I truly believe has given me the most mental strength to be able to actually control my thoughts.
Yeah, I love that. Do you do any breathing exercises?
Just box breathing at night, like if I'm trying to just calm, but I've tried to build that as a practice, but it's almost like a second workout. Like I have not been able to do it. I've tried and I've just I haven't truly enjoyed it.
How do you box breathe? Do you do a 3 or a 4 cycle?
I do like 6.
You do a 6?
Yeah.
All right. So box breathing, guys, if you don't know, it's you breathe in for a certain amount of time, you hold it for a certain amount of time, you breathe out for a certain amount of time, and then you hold it for a certain amount of time. You make a little box with it. I actually do. I teach 3 breathing. I breathe in and hold it until I feel my mind and body connect, and then I breathe out.
Nice.
So I can do that on stages.
Yeah.
I can do that before, like when I'm nervous talking to somebody. Like we met Mike Tyson a couple days ago, and I was like,
"Oh, nice, yeah."
Hey, Mike. And he's like, "Yeah." So like those type of events, but I find that to help me clutch. But I didn't really realize I could control my mind until I started doing something like that. But that's the only one I can actively do.
Yeah.
But I had to go through stuff like that. Cold showers are one of them. Saunas are great for you too.
Yeah, love sauna.
Yeah. So like the extremes, you have to live in the extremes somehow.
Yeah. And
then that builds that connection. So I like that you built that in there. All right. Tell me something that you tell every man. So tell me a common thing that you hear. First, let's start there. What do you hear from most men that you're helping? Like what are their main problems?
They have fallen off their discipline, which has led to a lack of confidence, and which then leads to them not able to set and enforce healthy boundaries. And with that comes the lack of emotional regulation and control. The thing a lot of men think, so there's the hormonal aspect of this, right, where your hormones are off, and so it's even harder to actually control your emotions. Yeah. But then there's this feeling of power. And so when a man doesn't have the communication skills to actually navigate confrontation and the confidence to communicate clearly and calmly, and he doesn't feel that power, then he will raise his voice to overcome the person that he's having confrontation with to feel powerful.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of men don't realize what's causing it. Yeah. And again, it's because we all do it. We lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing that I get men to do is actually just tell the truth. Mm-hmm. If you can tell the truth and we can actually focus on keeping agreements, like if just those 2 things, like a lot of the guys that I just had come into the program a few months ago, they were really struggling with discipline.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, we're not moving on. We're not going to talk about developing these communication skills or even first removing the poor communication habits that you have so we can replace it with the right communication skills.
Yeah.
That's going to mitigate the conflict that's even coming.
Right.
But we can't talk about that stuff until we just get you disciplined, because at the core of all of this, she doesn't trust you, and she doesn't trust you because you don't trust you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have to rebuild your trust with yourself first, so that way everybody else can trust you. And then there's, of course, like the really nice guy that's like, well, she trusts me. It's like, she trusts you to do whatever she says, but she doesn't trust you to lead.
Right.
Right. So that's why that's why you're not having incredible sex, is because, right, but you're keeping the peace and you're being you think you're being a good man, but you're not being good at being a man.
It's a sports car analogy, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you buy a new car, you walk on a lot and you see a sports car and you're like, that looks fun. I want that sports car. Well, women do the same thing with men. They find the sports cars, you know, whether it's the expensive Rolls Royce that doesn't go fast, but it's nice to ride, you know, into the future, or it's the really fast, bumpy, exciting ride. Women are looking for that. And whenever you start to get dings, your paint starts to dull because you're not taking care of your sports car. They see that, and then they start looking around for another sports car.
Yep.
And they'll get in the car. They'll take the trip with you.
Yeah.
Until they don't one day.
Yeah.
And they trade you in.
Yeah. She's watching everything.
Everything.
Everything that you do.
Yeah. She tells you.
So that's where, like, even for me, like, and anything that I may have wanted us to change lifestyle wise, I would just lead by example. So it's like, yeah, you may want to stay in bed in the morning and cuddle with her, and she may ask you to, but that is not going to change anything. What's going to change is you waking up earlier, getting out of bed regardless of how comfortable it is or how cold it is outside those blankets, and her watching you show up for yourself every single day. Because again, this whole over masculine woman she doesn't trust men.
No.
And so you have to be disciplined. She's watched me do the same exact things over and over and over and over again. And by doing that, she has continued to soften and soften and soften. And no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's starting with truth, which a lot of men don't want to do because they're afraid of judgment. And a lot of men are just afraid of the work that it's going to require to change.
I can see that. I mean, and you got fake book out there too, showing people like fake things, you know, and then they're comparing themselves to everyone's best, not seeing the worst because no one posts that.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, oh,
Same.
This sucks.
Same.
This sucked. And then people are like, oh, I relate with you.
Yeah.
Everyone has these feelings. You know?
100%.
Yeah, that's a good thing though. Catching yourself in a lie, or whenever you say a lie, saying that's not true.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what I asked him. I'm like, tell me why that's 100% bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Explain to me why that's bullshit. They just told me it as if it's truth. And so if I can help them shift their perspective, and argue against it, they themselves are proving themselves wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And so in this pit to peak, right, you have your rules, stories, beliefs, and laws of how you operate, which is keeping you stuck in the pit. And so we have to shatter that frame and create a bigger one that can hold the life and the reality that you actually want to be living. And then from that pit to peak is the agreements, right? And it's the thoughts and behaviors changes that need to happen in order to get there. And then it's just stacking them the right way.
I like that. Let me challenge you. The peak. So there was a soccer coach. It was a woman's coach. And I was watching TV. It wasn't something I was watching. I was just like, oh, what's she going to say?
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, we're at the top of our game now, but no mountain is able to sustain a large amount of time. The air is thin and the space is small.
Yep.
So we're going to look for another peak to climb. And I'm like, whoa, that's good. I wonder who she stole that from. But when I hear pit to peak, that's one travel.
Yep.
Like,
so the peak itself becomes normal, and then it becomes numb, and then it becomes the next pit.
That's what I was asking. That's what I was going to ask you.
And from that place, then we get clear on where we're at, what we want next, what God wants for us next, because God is very much infused in what I do.
Yeah.
It's in every single video of my curriculum and my training. So we're going from pit to peak over and over again. That's what I've been doing for 6 years. That's how I've transformed over and over and over again, every single area of my life.
Yeah.
And it's just being brutally honest. Okay, this is where I'm at. Do these beliefs that got me here, are they going to take me to the next level?
Yeah.
Probably not. Cool. Which ones? How do I change them? What's the story that I have to tell myself to reinforce that, to be able to truly embody it, not just say it, right? Because we could say beliefs all day. Most Christians say they believe in God, right? But do they act? Do they embody the actual traits, the skills? Does it reflect God?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Right? And so that's So it's hard because of a lack of self-awareness. Like we're only so aware, and it's a progressive expansion of awareness, but it's difficult to, it really takes time to actually reflect and sit down and have patience. And so, which is required, like a man, if he doesn't want it bad enough, he's not going to sit down for a couple hours and actually get that clarity. He just wants something served to him quickly that is going to help him, right? That's why people use medication and all these other things instead of actually just cultivating the habits that would create the change that they actually want.
That's good, man. That's good. Have you ever had anybody have like an aha moment and they're like, well, I just went through this journey. It took whatever amount of time, because it's always different, right?
Yeah.
No one has the same journey. So they get to their first peak. Do you make it an easy win? Or do you challenge them a little bit? Like when you first start people out, do you make it to where they can see it?
Yeah. So the thing I do is like we go as far as we can see, and then we go further.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so and when we're trying to stack wins, that goes back to the recognition records.
Yes.
And so I have them every week celebrate. We have to, when it's like rules of engagement, but within this system. Okay. So we have to be able to identify a win. We have to be able to define a win first. So what is a win in your body? What is a win in your being, balance, business? So that way, when it happens, we can actually identify it and then give it recognition. But instead, we just continue to do these things and we never give recognition for it. And so we're doing a great job as a man, improving and growing and evolving. But because we're not giving ourselves recognition for it at all, we're not increasing our confidence. So that's where like the keeping agreements is powerful, because it's stacking evidence, right, of you doing what you say you're going to do. But the recognition record stacks evidence against limiting beliefs, against who you've seen in the mirror to prove that it's no longer that man. Yeah,
that's exactly where I wanted to go with this. Is like, there's got to be a time when someone sees that first win and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, Dylan, I want to keep doing this, man."
Yeah,
because men are built different. Have you ever heard the mountain analogy, where men are born in the valley and their job is to climb the mountain, and women are born at the top and their job is to sustain. So whenever they see themselves falling, like I'm not as beautiful or thin or whatever, they see themselves coming down the mountain. And the objective for a relationship is to meet together and climb the mountain together.
Yep.
Have you heard that before?
I haven't, no, but it's very much like the experience I've even had with my wife.
Yeah.
We've continuously supported each other in our growth.
Yeah. Well, and so that's where I want to go with this. Like this pit, it's the same thing, pit to peak, but you're doing it and like, here's a shelf, and now there's still another shelf, and like you're not done. And like, guess what? You can bring in a female and they're like, this has got a whole new level, like a whole new level of awesome wins about to be in my future. Yeah. Have you seen that? Like, I know you have.
For me, even when I called off this wedding and I was single for 2 years, just working on myself. I was in Scottsdale, not really dating at all.
Yeah. Good.
And I was just working on myself. And then when I finally felt ready to start dating again and met Donna, because of who she was, even though she had her own work and healing and all these things to do, the connection, obviously the physical attraction, all of it called me higher.
That's nice.
Immediately called me higher. And so I was terrified of public speaking my entire life. Yeah. And then like 3 months of us dating was my first speaking engagement opportunity came up. And I could have talked myself out of it because I was just nervous, something I wanted to do, but was afraid to do because I had this limiting belief that I had a bad memory. And so what if I forget everything and blank out on stage or whatever? But I had to rise if I wanted to continue to not only just attract, but keep this woman and this caliber of woman.
Yeah.
I had to rise.
That's
and
tight.
So I said yes. And then that speaking engagement led immediately to 2 more invites of speaking engagements from people that saw me speak.
Nice.
And one of them was mentors that I was most nervous about. And when they called me, I remember being in her kitchen and I was like, who's the man I say I am? what does he do right now? He doesn't say no.
Yeah.
Right? He has to say yes. And one of the biggest practices I have, which has now been heavily involved in my relationship with God, is massive immediate action. And so I said yes immediately instead of I need to think about it, because then it condenses time it condenses time between the opportunity and the action. So because in that gap is where we talk ourselves out of everything.
Yeah. I can see that.
So anytime I feel fear, I know that's exactly what I need to do. And I have to act on it immediately because I don't want my logical mind to talk me out of where God is guiding me.
That's good. And it will do that.
Even now, dude, this Make Men Godly Again podcast, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to even ask you, but I'll wait till after.
Yeah. Go ahead. Ask me now.
For me, the idea of like scheduling the podcast and all these things, there's something I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm just obeying.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's just another element of my business.
Yeah.
And I've been taught, one thing, keep it simple.
Yeah.
One offer, one this, and scale it. And now he's calling me to do this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust him over what my mentors have taught me.
Yeah.
And this is going to be obviously brought into alignment where it's going to work beautifully. And I do trust it, but I'm like, gosh, the responsibilities that come with it. And then for it to be the brand that it is, like I have to be very intentional in the words that I speak, because it can make the difference between directing a man away from God for 2 more years. Right. Which I need to leave up to him.
So like I pray in the morning before every podcast that I get the words that I need to say, and he gives them to me just like it's ministry. But, I told you before this is a yes and amen for me.
Yeah.
And I'm a burn the boats kind of guy.
Yep.
So I was doing a whole bunch of other things. And then the one thing is the podcast now. So a lot of podcasts stop at 7 episodes. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. I spend a week getting a show done by myself because I just didn't have the money, at the beginning. I don't have the money. So I got to find sponsors, right? And when am I going to find the time to find sponsors? And then I'm providing value. People are giving me great feedback. And so I know I'm doing what God wants me to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that drives me and it motivates me. But the biggest problem is the doubters, man. Everyone's going to hate on you. I mean, they do it. But everyone's concerned more about themselves than you. So do what God tells you to do, not what other people tell you to do. So on this, that's how I do it. The hardest part is shutting up and listening.
Yeah.
Because, God put you here. I didn't put you here.
Yeah.
Like the way we met.
Dude, and the timing, I had a podcast yesterday too, interview. And they just like are stacking up in a very, and it was just days after he gave me this calling.
Yeah.
And like more so clarity in the calling, right? And like the one thing that was missing from it was the marketing message that is bringing me in alignment with glorifying him.
Make men godly again. Freaking, that's so good.
I'm like, how did somebody not do this already?
Oh, I have no idea, but it is so good. So I see this blowing up. It's going to be great. But what I will tell you is it's easier when you hire people. So the podcasting world is connected. It is a brotherhood, sisterhood sometimes of people who will help you get the people that you need on your show. And a lot of the people that I find come through other podcasters. So you're going to love the community. If you allow it to help you, you're going to really love it. But a lot of people think that they can do it on their own.
No, I'm immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there.
So you're in the right world. I did a TED session in Atlanta where I talked about podcasts replacing books, and I really believe that because people can listen to a podcast and work out. They can listen or watch a podcast on the train or the bus or whenever they're doing transit in a big city. But they can also listen to it, and as long as you're regular and you stay that, then the people who are looking for your message will jump into your community. And I'm not trying to sell anybody anything.
Yeah.
Anyone who sponsors the show are products that I believe in and I use. So like Bucked Up was the first one to say, yeah, we'll work with you. And now they give like all the listeners get like a 20%, which is crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like 20% off.
That's
and it comes to your house,
10 maybe,
right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it comes to your house, and you don't have to go to the store. I mean, come on, man, this is a freaking no-brainer.
I actually like their stuff too.
I love their stuff. I used to use their stuff all the time when I was in Afghanistan, and so that was that was a God thing, you know. So they connected us, and I'm looking at a couple other brands that I use, and you know, if it works out, it works out. It's all God.
Yeah,
and you just have to give it to them and just be like, yeah, whatever.
That's why I'm just taking the mass media action and trusting.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
That's all I'm gonna do,
dude. Like,
let him guide me.
Like, okay, so like the setup. Whenever are you gonna do live like this, or are you gonna in person?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the best way, man.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do Zoom or they do Riverside, which is okay, but the in person is just, it hits different. So I did 100 podcasts before I did the show, and I didn't have to. It's just a friend was like, you know, before you figure out what you're going to talk about, you should probably talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
And you were already there. You know, we were talking about you potentially writing a book, or you're writing a book now.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually been, I started writing a book in 2011.
Yeah.
But the title was Cold Beer and a Broken Watch. But it was like essentially a memoirs, because all my friends were like, dude, even at 21, they're like, you've lived a crazy life. Like, I was arrested 4 times between 13 and 18.
Yeah. Wow. And then became a cop.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I was denied by 50 plus police departments in every branch of the military every 2 years between 2008 and 2013. Yeah.
Yeah. Why'd they deny you? Because of your record?
Yeah. Yeah. So first, I was 13. It was a burglary. It ended up being a police officer's house. So
poor choice, Cotton.
Yeah.
Poor choice.
Yeah. I was like they brought me as the youngest, so I would take the rap. I didn't know.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah.
So it was organized.
Yeah. I thought we were just riding our bikes to Walmart.
Yeah. It happens sometimes like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Then 15 years old, I started selling weed at 13 to like pay for like better school clothes, so I could stop being made fun of in school.
Man, I got that.
Yeah. And I ended up getting caught by NYPD with an ounce on me on federal property. They beat the shit out of me. I was in like a bubble coat, so they didn't realize I was a kid. And then they ripped my hat off. Like, yeah. My mom's boss had to bail me out of jail.
Wow.
And
how did that conversation go?
Oh, I was terrified of my dad. Terrified. I was truly debating. I'm like, I still got like $300 on me. They sent me home on a bus, and I was debating like running away because I was really afraid my dad whipped my ass. Yeah. And then actually a girl that I was hooking up with, her ex-boyfriend found out, called her family, and she had sworn that she would wait till marriage.
Wow.
And they lost it, and she lied and said that it wasn't consensual.
Oh crap.
Yeah. And we had like friends at the party, everything, like everybody knew.
Yeah.
Like, all her friends too. And her friends, they just essentially didn't let them testify because they were going to testify against her. And the court system where I grew up is so corrupt that on TV, a politician once said, if you ever want to commit murder and get away with it, go to Auburn, New York. And I ended up having to plea down because they thought that I was going to, that I would end up being wrongfully, what's the word?
Wrongfully accused.
Yeah. And then the last one was just a fight. I was the captain of the soccer team, and fighting a team that was dirty, and this dude like slide tackle from behind and then started beating up like the smallest dude on my team, and I ran across the field, full sprint, Superman punched him in the face and like cracked his face open. Benches cleared, and they ended up pressing charges.
Did you study martial arts as a kid?
Yeah. I started boxing at like 16 and then got into MMA around 18. My dad tried to get me into karate when I was young, but I couldn't stand it. I couldn't remember all the like
the katas and dances that they do.
Yeah. So,
sorry, karate people. I know you can kick well. I felt some karate kicks in MMA, and I don't like them. Yeah. But the rest of the stuff, no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I essentially was martial arts shopping until I got to New Orleans and found Krav Maga.
Yeah.
And because it's New Orleans, they allowed you to get into weapons defense very quickly.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. I was obsessed with it. So
Yeah, I had Tyler Smoker on a show a couple months ago in Minneapolis. Went up there and got an interview with him. He went in after Katrina, and he was talking about how it was just a different city, but it was still, he was like concerned. So military was called in, the guard. He was in the guard or something like that, and he was like, "Hey, we need weapons," and they gave them to him. I was like, "You just don't get weapons all the time in a humanitarian situation." So if that tells you anything about New Orleans, if you've never been there and you have a gun, you should probably bring it, but you should also not use it unless it's absolutely necessary, because it's not something you're not gonna meet a nice cop if you have a gun in your hand over there. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very low regard for human life there.
Yeah,
it's
cheap.
There was a time where we were averaging like 7 car chases a day, which was like wild. And just so, like, I've seen at this point hundreds of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Just from just ruthless, just pointless murders.
Yeah.
Getting shot at by 13-year-olds and stuff, like, just crazy.
It's
just
nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into Bible verses. What's your favorite Bible verse?
You know what? I'm not good at remembering scripture at all.
And me neither.
I wish that I was, because I have a client who's a good friend as well, that is like, anytime I say something, I'm like, dude, back me up with some scripture. And he'll immediately.
I know those people.
So now I'm just trying to get him to actually embody it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you can know this all day, but it doesn't say know them by their scripture, or know them by how much they can memorize scripture. It's by their fruit.
Yeah.
So, like, I need you to embody this. You can repeat it all day long, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
And it'll mean way more when you say it, when you're a representation of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to, like, you're all about serving God, dude. Like,
yeah. I always felt guilty about that. Like, I don't know scriptures off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I know some, John 3:16, obviously, but like
right here.
Yeah.
Or 15:13 actually. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But the one that really grabbed me is Ecclesiastes 3:3, and that's the time. There's a time for everything. We were getting trained before we went out to Iraq by Lieutenant Colonel retired Dave Grossman. He worked with police and military on the psychology of killing, right? So he was like, yeah. He talked about what would happen when adrenaline kicks in during a life-threatening situation. He was freaking 100% right, So lucky for me, why I don't have PTSD is I got Dave Grossman, trained, and so he talked about the 3 things that'll happen to most people. You might pee yourself. Don't be embarrassed, right? Things might slow down. That's just your adrenaline kicking in so that you can move faster, right? Tunnel vision, like one of those things is probably going to happen to you, and like legit things slowed down for me, and I was like, okay, this is normal. But it would have really freaked me out had I not, known that.
Yeah, I didn't have any training on that, which I think is really bad. The police officers, a lot of them don't.
Right.
My first time, because I had to end up jumping the car to chase them afterwards, and my leg was jumping, like,
you could feel it.
Yeah. Like, my whole leg was like literally just, I can't even explain how it was like just like doing its own thing.
Yeah.
While I'm driving a truck on the interstate chasing these guys, and I had to like straighten it out.
Yeah.
And switch feet to drive with the other foot.
Yo.
Because it was just like
adrenaline dump in your leg.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I still to this day never really talked about that to figure out like what it was that did that, but it never happened again. And I guess I didn't like jump into a car after being shot at or an exchange. So that was like the only time that I was in that specific situation.
I mean, one thing I've never talked about this, but after killing, after death, if I'm directly involved with it, I have a process that I go through, and my fiance witnessed it when I was out hunting elk last year, 2 years ago. She was a fantastic cheerleader, by the way. I shot the elk, straight heart shot, and then took a shoulder shot, so he just dropped, and I was like, didn't we have to go anywhere? And she jumped up. She's like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna marry this woman.
Yeah.
But we went up to the animal, and I went through this process, and like I just don't feel good because society says, thou shalt not kill and all that. Mm-hmm. But Ecclesiastes 3:3 says there's a time for everything, and there is a time to kill.
Yeah.
There is a time for hate. There's a time for everything. that's seemingly bad, but there is a time for that, you know? But there's still a process that I have to go through, even though I know that that's the truth. And that process gets a little bit less and less each time. But no one talks about that, man.
Yeah.
And it's not shameful, man. It's just what happens.
No, and it's real. And I think it's difficult to, like, I have this thing, my wife like cracks a joke because the way I resonate or will match like a story, like when we're relating with each other,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, but my story, I'll think that it's like normal, but my story is like super dark.
Oh, yeah.
And like not something that you should just normally tell like a normal human being that hasn't
experienced
in violence
anything
like that.
Yeah.
But even that, it's similar. Of like there's things that we don't normally talk about.
No.
Which I think is why this is so powerful. It's like, let's talk about the things that most people are afraid to discuss, and very openly and honestly, like the things that actually happen to you as a man when something like that happens, when you have to do something like that, when you see something like that.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm sorry, actually, is there something you wanted to?
No, this is great. Let's dive down.
Yeah.
Because no one's talking about this.
Yeah. I had a moment in my career. So I wrote myself a letter in the beginning, essentially like, these are your intentions. This is why you're doing this job. Because I'd grown up, I had really poor experiences with the police, even just like getting stopped by the police. Like, I'm the only white kid. They would treat me better than they treat my friends, all sorts of stuff. And I had a cousin who babysat me. She was only a couple years older, but she babysat me. And she ingrained be the change you wish to see in the world in me. And I took it serious.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, somebody clearly has to do this job better. So I'm going to do it better. And I'm going to be the best police officer I could possibly be.
Right.
And I think I achieved that. But I wrote myself this letter just clarifying my intentions. And then I wrote at the end of the letter, if you ever start to change for the worse, it's time to go. And I'd read that letter to myself every year. And I was like only 3 years in. And we were in roll call one day. And we get a call of a shooting. We all run out. And I find myself standing over this 17-year-old kid who's dead. I had to fight his girlfriend off of him, get them all back behind the tape. And he's shot in the face all throughout his body. And I feel nothing at all.
It's a job now.
Yeah. And I'm just waiting for Crime Lab to get there so I can go to my next call. And I realized that in that moment, I'm like, wow, I've seen enough of these and this is actually nothing to me. Yeah. And then I left that call finally. And on the way, we were getting dispatched to a domestic violence call. And another call comes out over the air of a pregnant dog hit by a car. And we're approaching the intersection of where that was happening.
Yeah.
And I was in the passenger seat, and I told my partner, I'm like, don't take it. Don't take it.
Yeah.
And there was no way for us to drive around it to avoid it. And right as we pulled into the intersection, the unit that got dispatched to it pulled up and blocked it perfectly. And I just looked the other way because I didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
Go to the domestic, handle that. Later in the day, we get a triple homicide. Pull up on the block, and I got a dude in the car. They shot out his entire mouth. He had just got out of prison, must have snitched, and they emptied like a couple mags into his mouth.
Yeah, wow.
And two dudes face down that looked like they were running the opposite way. Got 97 casings, like mags everywhere, as if this was like a serious, And now we're fighting everybody behind the tape. Whole crowd's out there. I got 3 dead bodies, and again,
didn't feel anything.
Nothing, not a thing. The only,
but you would have on the dog.
Yeah. And what was crazy is the only emotion I felt on that scene was the fact that some of those parents were letting their kids see it. Like this is so ridiculous. So I was pissed at that. That was the only thing I felt. So we clear the scene late, overtime. I'm on my way home, and I'm driving like right on the interstate around the dome, the Superdome. And I realized, dead human versus dead dog. I felt more about this dog than I did a human. And I had seen myself, like I felt like I saw myself as this fortress that could not be changed for the worse. Like I felt strong in what I believed and who I was and why I was doing what I was doing. And I felt impenetrable. And in that moment, I felt like the gate unlocked. And the fortress was no longer as impenetrable as it was. And I felt like I was starting to change. But I'm like, but I'm not like, I'm still good, right? And I'm like, so I read that letter when I got home, bawled my eyes out, and I was like, I have to check myself. But I didn't really know how to do that because I still was showing up the next day. Now all of a sudden it's Thanksgiving, and I got 2 murders by 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like in the middle of the street. This dude's like trying to pick up part of his head that came off.
And fell on the street after it got kept.
Yeah. And he's literally trying to pick it up. And I'm just like, this is gonna change me. There's no way it doesn't at some level.
Yeah. And
then, so I walked away from the job feeling like I lost parts of my heart that I'd never get back. So 1 year from that 40-day challenge, my ex-fiance, asked me to do another 40-day challenge, but it's a yoga and meditation challenge. So it's like hot yoga every day and 2 meditations.
Okay.
And it progressed from a 5-minute meditation to 30-minute meditation.
Yeah.
Like increased by 5 minutes every week.
Yeah.
And I tried to meditate as a police officer. I'd sit in my closet trying to meditate, but all I would see is dead bodies or whatever I was dealt with that day. And it never worked. I could never like slow my mind down. And probably halfway through this challenge, I'd always got there super early so I could get in the back because I'm like the only dude in here. I don't want to be like have people eyes on me while I'm trying to do this yoga stuff.
Yeah.
And so I ended up late one day, and the only spot was dead center in the front. And I am in this like pose that you're like reaching for your ankle with your opposite hand and reaching up towards the sky. So your chest is like really opening up.
Yeah.
And the message that the yoga instructor was saying is like, look how far you've come. She just kept repeating it. Whether it's 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, look how far you come. And it was just like hitting me like a ton of bricks. Like this image of this fortress that had opened, and like the floodgates had opened and changed me. It was like in this moment, a gate in the back of the fortress appeared, and these things were able to leave as well.
Wow.
So they didn't have to stay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I just started like, I'm like fighting back the tears. I'm like, the only dude in here. I'm like, do not be a pussy. Like, this is like, do not start breaking down crying. Yeah. But it still, even though I didn't truly allow myself to feel it all, it was such a profound moment because I'm like, I might be able to get those pieces of my heart back.
Dude, that's crying on the inside, baby.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool, man.
Yeah. I still feel like the emotion, even now to this day. And that was like February 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great, man.
Yeah. And a wild healing journey pursued after that.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more thing before we wrap up.
Okay.
If you could go back in time and tell your younger self anything, about what you know now, if you could impact your younger self, what would you tell your younger self?
It's interesting because I feel like I wouldn't change anything, but if there's one thing that I think would have given me peace sooner, is that I am not other people's perspectives of me. Because I developed some deep insecurities as a kid and built a tough guy persona around it to protect myself, and became a fighter, and just like, as long as people like are afraid of me and don't want to mess with me, then they won't hurt me emotionally either. And so I got in a lot of fights. I was very protective of others, so that's where it started. It's protecting those that weren't strong enough to stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
So I would beat up the bullies.
Yeah.
Right. But then I also, in a way, was my own like bully, and I built that persona, and that created. So I have a younger brother who's autistic, and he's been dually diagnosed, like bipolar and schizophrenia, all this stuff, and it's been a battle. Like the first time that he threatened to kill himself at 7 years old in the kitchen with a knife. And I prayed for a brother. I begged my parents for a little brother, and then I was given one, and then I was kind of like, it was then taken because I never got to really have a true relationship with him. And so I had this void. Like I desired to have a brother so much. And so I always had a best friend that I'd call my brother.
Yeah.
And so I had Lamar, my best friend, for 25 years up until college. And then I had Brett that like replaced him, and that was my brother. And then it became my partner.
Yeah.
And then after that, it became my business partner, Joey.
Yeah.
And so I was so attached to these relationships, and I developed. Then I had two business partners for I Believe in You, which I love to correct. I'm not the CEO and founder. I'm a co-founder.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's great. I want to give him that respect because he came up with the idea.
What's his name?
Braxton Kilgo.
Okay.
Yep. And so actually I won't. I'll give this to you in a second here.
Oh, thanks. I got something for you too.
Beautiful. I appreciate it. But I built some insecurities early on around how people perceived me, and so I had this ego and this identity that I was trying to portray, but deep inside I didn't want to fight. I was afraid. Deep inside I wanted to be the loving, funny guy that I truly was. And I just piled this tough guy on top of it. And it took me probably till around the time I was a police officer and built confidence through my success as a police officer. Yeah. Like I was officer of the year 3 years in a row, all these different awards and stuff. And like that was like, oh, hey, like I'm actually really good at something. And like but then I put my self-worth in my job.
Yep.
Right. And so there was a transition, but then I because of that confidence self-acceptance began. And so I wasn't judging myself so harshly anymore, and allowed for like the true version of who I am to come out more and more. And I mean, that's probably been a process over the last 10 years, but if I'd say anything, it was just really that like and again, it's like most of those people that I was fearing judgment from, like they now look up to me and still follow me 20 years later and are at home still going to the same bars, having the same conversations, doing the same things. Yeah. And for a long time, they controlled my behavior.
So don't let other people control what you do and what you think.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to know who you are, but like, how can you know who you are at that age, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a gift. You want to start?
Can I gift you
first? Come on, bring it.
All right. So this bracelet is designed to be worn until you're inspired to give it away.
Awesome.
Okay. And then inside the patch is an NFC tag.
Nice.
Tap it to the back of your phone. It opens up our app that captures the journey of the bracelet.
Oh,
so
cool.
Say you and I meet in a coffee shop or somewhere in the world. Yeah. 6 people have had it before me. Then I give it to you. You'll be able to see everywhere it's traveling the world on its way to you, who's had it, and stories and impacts it's made on their life through the social app.
That's very cool.
And then once you give it away, you'll forever get to see where it goes, who gets it, and the impact it continues to make. So the app, the second version is coming out soon. And it essentially looks similar to Instagram, but instead of followers, it has how many lives you've impacted.
That's epic,
this is yours.
Thank you. This is awesome. This band is designed to go over big risks, so I'm putting it on immediately.
Let's go. I can get you some more too if that one's tight.
Yeah, this is thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dylan. I have something for you. The Bible says that if you protect those who can't be protected, you will inherit the kingdom of God. So I just paraphrased that. I do believe it's if you're a protector or something like that. I don't remember the specific phrase, but I have a family of law enforcement as well. My great grandfather was out in the police force in the Boston area, and I've told the story before on that. But we go antiquing quite often.
Yeah,
and I found this set of badges. It's Texas Ranger, Dodge City Sheriff, Marshal, federal marshals. And I know you're moving, but I wanted you to have this and let God speak to you as a protector of not only His word and our people, but of the future that's going to inherit the shields that they are going to have to carry. So
Wow.
I want to give you that.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for being a guest on our show.
That's amazing, dude.
Blessed are the protectors, for they will inherit the kingdom of God.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. That's an amazing gift, dude. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that.
Of course. And with that, you have anything else? Where can we find you if we're looking for you?
Dylan Warter on Instagram, and then YouTube is Make Men Godly again. Just change that up. And then DylanWarter.com is my website.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Dylan. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
having
dropping
me.
wisdom on us. This is going to impact so many lives. And I just want to say thanks. Great to finally freaking put a name to the face in person.
Yeah, thank you.
And this has been an awesome show. So with everyone else, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. We have more things from men who have won. So you're going to want to see it. Stay with us as we stay on target with another awesome episode coming up next. We'll see you there. And subscribe to Targeted Now. As an ambassador to buckedup.com, I get to give you our special discount. That's Atlas25 when you go to buckedup.com to get that special discount. Only for our listeners, Atlas25. Go to buckedup.com now.